Hello YouTube. This is just an introductory video. My name is Ed. This is my first foray into the making and posting of really any sort of video, certainly videos on YouTube. I figure it's about time that I bring myself into the modern age a bit. I have two kids that are approaching early sort of preteen years, and they're already telling me that they want to be YouTubers when they grow up. So I figure I better then understand what the heck that means, right? And I can think of no better place to begin my education than here on the YouTube comic book community. For quite some time, I've been participating in some non-video related online comic book communities. Primarily, I'm talking, the CGC boards and the Facebook EC Fan Addict group. As you'll hear more about from me, hopefully another time, my main comic book collecting interests are ECs. And another video, I'll kind of tell you how I evolved to get to that point. But that's not the purpose of this here video. The purpose of this video is to just say hello. I've been watching actually some of your videos, even though I haven't been really participating in the community. I've been lurking and watching a lot of videos from a small number of you. In particular, Captain Strangelove. I've been watching Hans. I've been watching your videos for some time. ETA Nick, who I think used to participate a bit more at the CGC boards. I understand not so much anymore, but I've been watching your videos, Nick. Dr. Von Chilla. And John, thanks, man, for being my first subscriber, even before I posted a video. So thanks, man. I've more recently been checking out a few videos from Luther Manning and Reprotate 728. So I know a lot more about you people than you know about me. And so hopefully this is my initial effort at correcting that deficit. What are my plans for this YouTube channel? I don't really have any plans. I mean, I'm starting small. My first objective is to try to figure out how to basically shoot and upload a video. So hopefully I'm going to accomplish that with this video. After that, we'll see how things transpire. At minimum, I'll plan, just so you know a little bit more about me, since I know a bit about some of you. I'll do a little collecting backstory video just to sort of tell you, I was a child of the 70s. I was a natural born collector. You'll see some remnants of some of that behind me. And a story of how I've evolved over the decades and arrived at sort of where I am now. Other than that, I don't know. I guess I'm just, like I say, I'm doing this, I suppose, just to further participate in the community and participate in some of the tomfoolery that you guys are always up to. So part of my learning curve with this will be figuring out sort of how to work the technology that's involved. So right now, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just shooting this. So obviously the first thing I had to figure out was, like, how do I even create a video? So right now I'm just rolling with my laptop built-in camera and microphone using like the Windows 10 camera app. But for my purposes, I think that should suffice, at least for now. And we'll see how it goes from there. As for the room I'm in, I suppose this is where I'm going to primarily be shooting whatever videos that I shoot. This is as close as it gets in my house to a comic book room. Although most of my comic books are not in this particular room, just because it's not really set up to accommodate the collection. Maybe I'll work on changing that over the course of time, but I do have a few things in here. So you'll see behind me, like I say, I'm primarily an EC collector. I've got all my Russ Cochran portfolio sets for easy reference. Those things were in the 70s and 80s, basically. Just some other random, comic book related reference material, some Bernie Wrightson books. What else? Right there, you'll see, I don't know if any of you guys had the Mad paperback books. Ballantine was a typical publisher. I used to have dozens and dozens of these things. A couple of years ago, I pared that down and just kept a few select favorites. What else? Overstreet price guides back here. So I was a Star Wars collector back in the child of the 70s. I mean, I was just in the sweet spot for collecting Star Wars stuff. Again, several years ago, I purged a lot of my original owner Star Wars toys. That's Darth Vader, figure collector case filled with the figures. I kept him as a representative of that sort of era. Let's see. Over here on top of my guillotine paper trimmer, I use that guillotine paper trimmer for things like deslabbing CGC comic books when I want to get them out of the plastic case, and cutting, microchamber paper and cardboard and such. But on top of that, weighing it down right now is a Godzilla. So I'm the original owner of that guy. He was related to the Shogun Warrior figures that were out in the 70s. So I had all the Shogun Warriors plus the Godzilla. Like many of the other things I've mentioned, I sold off my Shogun Warrior set and kept Godzilla as the lone surviving representative of that particular collection from my childhood. What else is back there? I don't know. I've got a King Kong piggy bank from my childhood. I was a big Kong fan, as was Bill Gaines, by the way. So I've got Kong up there. A couple other things. So I guess this is as close as I have to a workspace for my comic related stuff. Just an area, for things that are coming or going. Got my scanners here for, shooting scans of my books when I want to show them to people on some of these other forums and that kind of thing. And then just piles. So for example, let's see. Just pick up a couple random things. So even though this is just an introductory video, this is just the stuff that was sitting here. I've got a bunch of EC undercopies, that I'm sort of trying to figure out what next to do with. Do I really need to keep these, or can I start thinking about letting them go and so forth? Right? There's like a classic, somewhat disturbing cover. What else here? Let's see. This is one that's I just picked up recently, entering the collection. So it's not an EC comic book proper, but back in as I'll talk more about later, the fact that I'm an EC collector now, the foundation of that was laid during my childhood through collecting Mad magazines. And so many of you may know this history. So Mad magazine, or Mad, the comic book form of Mad, started in the early 50s by EC, was sort of the first satire comic book. That ushered in a bunch of imitators. So satire, Mad imitators. One of those was put out by Ajax, this titled Madhouse. So I collect the Mad imitator books. So this one's not that easy to find. So I'm happy to pick that one up recently. Otherwise, I guess that's about enough, I guess, for the introduction. So I'm excited about the expansion of my horizons that this video forum will provide, and I look forward to getting to know a bit better many of you, and I look forward to participating a little bit more in the community. And so, like I say, I guess my next plan, aside from figuring out how to upload this video into YouTube, will be putting together a little bit of a collector backstory kind of a thing, and tell you a little bit more about sort of how I arrived at the collector spot that I'm currently in right now. So looking forward to it. Happy New Year.